Hi, it's Dr. Elisha Van Dusen at New Hope Chiropractic. Creaky knees, ankles that pop. Are cracking joints even normal? Well, if you've ever had cracking joints, there's really no need to worry. In general, as long as the cracking isn't accompanied by pain or swelling, you're typically okay. When your joints crack, it's usually because the muscle is tight, which can cause friction around your bones, and that creates the sound you hear. And that often happens in the mornings when you haven't been moving around a lot, when you've been lying still for hours, or when you're doing repetitive movement like lifting weights. And when tendons rub a joint, they can also make a sound. And that's partially why your joints will crack more as you age too. The cartilage around them is wearing down, which results in noisier joints than usual. So if, however, consistently you experience pain when your joints crack or they seem to swell, then it's time to pay a visit to your chiropractor. There's likely an underlying issue like a joint abnormality or subluxation. The joint is out of place. And is cracking your knuckles bad for you? That's a question I get often in my practice, my chiropractic practice. But what about cracking your knuckles then? Well, many of us were brought up being told that if we cracked our knuckles, we'd wind up with arthritis. And is that really the case? Well, knuckle poppers, if you crack your knuckles all the time, actually you're not in that bad a shape, because cracking your knuckles isn't that bad for you. And here's what actually happens when you crack your knuckles. There's nitrogen that's hanging out in your joints. And when there's a sudden change in how your joints are positioned, like when you stretch in the morning, the gas in the joints is released as they're being pushed a little bit beyond their normal range, and that makes that popping sound that you hear. It's a fast movement that's really the key here. If you tried to crack your knuckles with slow movements, it just wouldn't work. It has to be fast. So throughout the years, cracking your knuckles has gotten a bad rap. A 1990 study, for example, found that people who actually cracked their knuckles had poor lower grip strength and were more likely to have hand swelling, but that's actually been debunked. A study from 2017 found that knuckle cracking didn't result in more swelling or weakness over those who didn't crack their knuckles. Another study released in the same year found that cracking knuckles actually doesn't affect grip strength either. And what about the arthritis? Well, they don't really stand up to scientific studies and inquiry either. In 2011, a study was published in the Journal of American Board of Family Medicine and found that there was really no difference in rates of arthritis between those who cracked their knuckles and those who didn't. So it can be kind of annoying sometimes to those around you, the knuckle cracking, but it probably is not going to cause arthritis. But what about your neck, back, ankles, and knees if you crack those areas? Well, while it may be fine to crack your knuckles, cracking your back or other joints are a little bit different. When it comes to those areas, if it feels good, you could be doing more harm than good, because your back or neck are actually cracking, and you may think it sounds neat or it feels good, but if you're purposely cracking these areas because you're experiencing some pain and you want some relief, there's a lot of tension, in other words, then you put yourself at risk for all kinds of things like overstretched ligaments, misalignments in your back, pulled muscles, and all these things eventually are likely to restrict your mobility and cause more pain. And on top of that, you're providing temporary relief for what's likely to be an issue that requires some professional attention. So a chiropractor will help figure out what's going on. For instance, did you know that if your core is weak, you might experience back pain? So a skilled professional like a chiropractor then will be able to hone in on what's happening and help strengthen or stabilize the area that's hurting. Also, gentle yoga stretches are also great for releasing your back from tension without potentially harmful side effects with back or neck cracking. So those are good to do as well, along with chiropractic care, to make sure that the proper joints are being realigned. And how about your knees or ankles? Well, popping those joints at will is a little bit more difficult than, say, cracking your neck, but the potential for injury is a lot slimmer too. So like your knuckles, cracking knees and ankles is okay if you're not experiencing pain, but if you do experience pain, again, it's time to go and see your chiropractor and get an evaluation. And if those areas are subluxated, those joints are out of alignment, then you should definitely get those joints adjusted chiropractically. And as always, remember to keep moving, exercise on a regular basis. And incorporating strength and resistance training will help strengthen your joints and minimize injury to yourself. So walking, swimming are also great options that take pressure and weight off of your spine. Low impact, in other words. So hope this helps. Check us out at newhopechiropractic.com and go ahead and make an appointment if you haven't been checked in a long time, and get your spine adjusted, because a healthy nervous system is really a key to good health and optimal function. Have a great and healthy day.